Hey guys, welcome to a new episode of Russian Fishing 4. And today I'm going to show you guys how you can learn a lake or how you can learn a new lake. It's actually a bit the basics of the game, but I think it will help you guys out tremendously. So over the past couple of weeks I've received dozens of requests on, hey, could you do a bit about how to catch a certain type of fish. I've seen on the other channels that cover this game also specific fish videos targeting fish species, so they show you how they do it and you can learn from it. The downside of it is I could walk up to a spot on a river and I could show you how to catch a pike or how to target say chops, but if you start to copy it, it might not work for you. That is the simple truth. So because this game is goes so deep into detail that even though you would fish under the exact same circumstances as what I'm doing, and you would use the exact same lure or bait or hook or standing on the exact same spot or whatnot, it might still be completely different for you. Because there are a whole lot of factors that determine whether you catch a fish or a certain type of fish or not. It's the weather, it's the time of day, it's the temperature, it's the wind speed. If it's full moon at night or not, what type of setup you're using, what type of hook you're using, what type of lure you're using, what type of bait you're using, how your drag is set, and it goes on like that. And it's very hard to mimic that kind of stuff. So rather than just showing you a vid on how I am catching stuff, I'd actually like to show you guys how you can learn it for yourself and then apply it, and also not just apply it on one lake, but do that with all the lakes that you will unlock in the future as you level up. So let's say we just arrived here at Mosquito Lake and now we want to learn. So first thing that we have to do is get the map. That is the most important part here at Mosquito. It is in this building. You purchase the map and you press M, and it will show you the layout of the lake. It will show you the depths, and it will show you walkways. It will show you where it's greenery, where it's elevated, and where it's not. And those are already good pointers as to telling you where you can find fish and where you can find, for instance, the big fish. So the big fish would normally typically be in the deep water holes. So that is just one clue that you got right off the bat. It's over here. And for instance, the smaller fish, they like to be in more shallow water. So those would be the rounds around it. So 1.5 meters here, 1 meter here, and half a meter there. So that already gives you a clue as to what places you can visit to find a certain type of fish. Alright, next up, check the trophy board. If you can find it, it's on every lake with the exception of the tutorial lake, the old pond where you start with. If you are not able to find it, just hit the escape button and then click here on the trophy icon. There you go. Now, depending on the lake you are, the first tab over here, here it says O3.compnu. That is actually just Russian. O3 is a shortcut for lake, and this means mosquito. And here you can already see what type of fish are caught, by whom, and what type of bait. And if you click on it, it will actually expand, and you can see the rest of the bait. So here we've got a chop. It's the biggest one was 4.5 kilograms, was caught with a yellow boilie or yellow bait ball. And here you can see that it was also caught 2 times with maggots. So it gives you the size, it gives you what it was caught on with. So those are good things to keep in mind. And then here you can also see the dates on when it was caught. But here, for instance, you can see that maggots apparently do pretty good on catching the big chub. Now over here we've got bream, and here you can see that the size of them and you can actually catch them on pretty much anything. Here, the biggest one was caught with just a simple bread ball. This was with a grub, this was with a regular worm, these were with pearl barley, and this was with a dung worm. So for bream, it's actually a mixture what we can catch it on. If we check the rough, for instance, here we can see rough is mainly caught on just a regular worm, the ones that you start with. So that already helps you in determining. Here we got a Prussian carp, so it's mainly the two yellow ones, but on pearl barley it went alright as well. It will also show you what fish you need to avoid. For instance, if you just started out, you cannot handle this 13.5 kilogram common carp. So here you guys can see it was caught on potato pieces. So if you're just starting out, do not use potato pieces, or you'll get one of these big ones and it will snap your rod into two. So don't try that. As you can see, it also could be on common maggots. And I'll see here, buddy of mine, Vino, he's still on the leaderboard with his 11.8 kilogram of common carp. Well done, Vino. So this already helps you in determining, hey, what works on catching these. For instance, here the frog, as you guys can see, so it was two different types of flies, and then here bloodworms. So that already gives you an inkling. So now that you can see what fish there are on the lake, also by the way, the ones that are grayed out like this one, means that you can't catch them here on this lake. Or it has not been caught yet on this lake. So this will definitely help you out. So now you know what species there are. With this, you know what type of baits that you can use to specifically target these fish, or target them a bit better. We've got the map, so now it is time to move on to the lake. Now over here, this is where most folks start, because they are attracted by the boat. And here we can see that we've got an awesome view of the lake. We see that there's a line of reeds in that direction, and there's a line of reeds in this direction, and then over here there we've got open water. We open up the map over here, we can see that it's 1.5 meters deep. Now, now comes a bit more tricky part, because now we get onto a more advanced fishing, so to say. If you know your fishing, if you fish in real life, that knowledge you can apply into this game. So you know, for instance, that carp dwell more along the bottom, same with bream, whereas say roaches and roughs and gobies tend to be a bit more high into the water, perch for instance as well. You'll know that structures, objects in the water will attract to be a safe place, a safe haven for small fish, but also a great spot for predatory fish. That is stuff that comes with real life fishing or with playing the game and finding it out by yourself. So here we see a line of reeds, and like I said, structures, objects in the water, anything that can provide cover, which to hide from or which to attack from, is great for fish. So over here, let's see. Oh, I need to check quickly. So yeah, we'll take our number one rod. If you remember from the tutorial, it actually asked you to set it at 1 meter depth. So if you got nothing to go on, you got no clue as to what to go for. And just check the map, see what depth is, and either fish on the bottom or fish like half a meter or a couple of centimeters, like 30 centimeters above it. So it says 1.5 meter, and the tutorial that we did, we had set it to 1 meter. So here we'll go. In the tutorial we were also asked to put worms on it, so we'll put on a worm. There we go. And we're just gonna cast out. And this is how you can see what type of fish there will be. So now we've got the reeds over here. We are fairly close to the reeds, so we might attract fish that are in there, or we might attract fish that come swim up from here, from the open water, and want to go into there to hide, to do some resting, things like that. Or we could attract predator fish. Now with worms, excuse me, with worms, you're not very likely to attract very high predatory fish. For instance, it's very unlikely that you hook a pike, but you might be able to hook a perch. Because they are attracted by worms, especially when they're wriggling a bit. Movement in the body, in water, that always attracts predators. But there we go. We've got something, and we went after it like crazy. Let's bring this one up, and there we go indeed. Ooh, we actually got a Perchzilla. Nice looking perch. 465 grams. So that is it's awesome. As a low level, you get more points, and you also get more in skills. I'm a bit higher level at the moment already. So now, this is a good indicator. Especially when you hook a bigger version of the fish, it will definitely indicate that there's smaller ones as well. So yeah, catching a fish like this, that's what means that this is a great spot that we could use for targeting perch. Now that we know we've got our length at 1 meter, we are fishing with worms. We know that currently it's an overcast day. It's about noon, and it's 30.1 degrees, and it's windless. So now we can connect the dots a bit more. So if you're gonna fish here a couple of more times, you'll notice that over time you'll get more of the same species. You'll also catch other species, for instance goby hats. They love this spot as well. Now if you want to target something else, you can switch bait. So now instead of the worms, I put on brat balls. And here we go again. Oh, no, not in the reeds. A bit out of the reeds. There we go. Let's see what we can catch now with this. Because worms, like I said, they actually target a whole variety range of fish, including predators, but brat does not. Brat is not attractive to predatory fish. Not at all. It doesn't move, so it doesn't give them that signal for them to start to get excited, start to get into that hunting mode. They don't do that with brat. They won't do that, for instance, with boilies as well, or pearl barley, stuff like that. Brat is not giving off a good scent as well. Doesn't have anything meaty to it, so to say. No any oils. And here we go. We now got another fish, and here we've got a small common roach. Average sized, 158 points. 158 gram, I mean. So now we learned that here we can catch roaches as well. So this spot we've got both predatory fish and we've got non-predatory fish. Now if we move along, we will actually search and look for other structures. So we now know that here with the reeds we got all types of fish. Oh, come on, won't let me pass the tree. Alright, now I'll move this away a bit further. So over here, hey, we've got a barrel in the water. That is a great spot. In real life it will also be a great spot for eel. Unfortunately on this lake we do not have eel, but that will be an awesome spot. We've got a log that's fallen over there in the water. We've got some more reeds and some cut reeds. And over here we've got more reeds and we've got more logs as well. Now in general, when you've got a lot of dead trees and bigger objects in the water next to just plant life, those are always great spots for going after pike, going after perch. Those walleye, zander, they love these type of places to hang out. So let's try it again. So we learned that with worms we could attract the perch. Let's quickly look at the map. So currently we are standing right here, this section. This is where we currently are, and it's still 1.5 meters deep, so we'll leave it standing at this. I'm gonna throw it. That was actually a bit too far. I wanted to be a bit more closer. There we go. Now obviously we do need to pay a bit more attention that you do not get stuck with trees. Most definitely that is not a good thing. But here we go. We've got something that is interested. giving a couple of tucks. Need to wait a bit. He is taking its time. I'm not entirely sure if that is a perch. I think the way that it is currently doing its thing could also be a carp. He's a bit like Catchy says, Squatchcraft. He's romancing it. He's not like slam bam, thank you ma'am. But he's like, oh, how are you doing? I like you. They're doing his dancing first. And a bit of teasing. Giving this quiet tucks. Now, we need to wait a bit until he goes for it. There we go. And here we are. And no, it was a common roach that charmed its way to it. Okay, so yeah, like I said, this one here will work as well. Now, if I got a spinning reel on this one. I do not, on the wrong account. If you would have a spinning rig, this would be an ideal location to throw in that lure and start reeling it in. And you might need to fiddle a bit with the speed. Sometimes you'll notice that a slow speed, like a reeling speed set on 10, works a bit better. Sometimes you'll notice that if you put it on high speed, you'll actually attract the predators more. That all depends a bit on where you are, weather conditions, stuff like that. But moving to a place like this, that is definitely a good indicator that there might be pike. Having that said, right up, like I said, so objects in the water, especially like dead trees and stuff like that, they attract predatory fish. That is true. In Russian Fishing 4, though, at the moment, some lakes, even though they got a whole lot of these type of structures into the water, they are not that perfect. For instance, if you go to Old Jail, that is map number 4, they got a whole lot of rocks in the water, dead trees in the water, stuff in the water, small docks, things like that. But at the moment, that lake is more designed to do carp fishing or go after chips and tans. And if you think that you can actively do there a whole lot of spin fishing, I'm sorry, I've got to disappoint you at this stage in the game. So currently it's the 20th of July 2017. At this stage in the game, you can catch some, but they're not as abundant there as they are, say, for instance, on Coiling River. Which is the third map, and that is a river with a current in it. Predatory fish love those type of waters. So, yeah, like I said, in general, you'll find predatory fish near these type of structures, but unfortunately, the way that the game is currently set up, it does not work everywhere. So keep that in mind. But now that we've covered that one a bit, let's move on to here. So this, for instance, will be an awesome place. We've got lily pads over here with a couple of dead trees poking out. And we've got the reeds over there, we've got reeds over here, and then over there we've got a dead tree. So if I were to be here and I wanted to do both float fishing and spinning, this would be the ideal spot. For my spinner, I would cast out over here and then reel it back in like that. For float fishing, here we have a small inlet that is perfect for fish to do some resting after they've done their miles of swimming in the lake. They come over here towards the more shallow water and start resting here. And those that want to see cover, they'll be right over here. So this again will be, like I said, an awesome spot. Let's grab our rod. Now instead of the worms, let's try maggots this time, and let's fish a bit higher up in the water. I'd like to fish at 17 centimeters sometimes. You might think I'm crazy. I'm not. It does work, and I'll show you guys. Well, hopefully I'll show you guys. It's always Obviously, sometimes you got to deal with RNG, and lately it's not been in my favor, I have to say. I am not good with the RNG at the moment. But yeah, like I said, this would also be a great spot. Now, lily pads in general, they are awesome for carp. They are awesome for tench. They love to hang around those body of waters. Now, if you're completely new to fishing, if you got no background whatsoever with any real life fishing or any other fishing games that learned you a bit the basics of different fish species and whatnot, this game is actually designed to look a lot like real life. Here we go. We've got a tiny crucian carp, 229 grams. Awesome. So if you say you got no idea how you can catch a tench, you're completely clueless, but you like them a lot, you've seen pictures from other folks, you've seen videos, and now you want to target it yourself, what you can do is you can simply Google tench and then read what it said about it. So normally I'm not a big fan of Wikipedia, I've got to say, because there's a lot of nonsense on it, half-truths and whatnot. The basics, however, are solid. So if you Google or put in Wikipedia tench, you'll actually learn more about the fish. And the same goes, for instance, with chub and carp. So take chub, for instance. Chub loves to be in bodies of water where there's a bit of a current. They are more active during cloudy days, rainy days, overcast days than they are during full sunny days. And this, by the way, is a carp because he's romancing it again. Or it could be common roach, the one that fooled us earlier. So if you take those bits of info and you take it with you, then you get a better picture and you get a better understanding. So, for instance, if it's a full sunny day, you know that it will be better to target, say, for instance, predatory fish, because they are very active on... ooh, you almost went there. They are very active on very sunny days, whereas targeting chub at that moment is not truly advisable, because they are... You can catch them, but not as many as you... Oh, I missed that one. As you can catch on a cloudy day. So the moment it gets a cloudy day, go bring out your stuff, put on maggots, set your line to say 50 centimeters. Ooh, he almost went there. Set your line to say 50 centimeters, especially if you're fishing, like for instance in Corling River. Awesome spot there. A lot of spots, by the way, there to catch those chubs. So that is how you can use those real life knowledge and bring it to this game. Again, this game currently it's in beta, so it's what we currently have of the game that is playable is like 20% of what the final game will be. So some mechanics are currently not in tune with the game. And that includes fish mechanics, includes some difficulties with fish species, for instance. So even though I'm trying to show you guys sort of the guidelines, keep in mind that this game is not fully out yet. It's still needs a lot of work to be done, even though I can tell you guys, okay guys, so this is how it works, you might find that for some reason it doesn't work. So don't take it's that's the wrong word to say, don't take my word for granted. Do take my word for granted, because I like to be as in detail with you guys and as truthful as can be, but realize at the same time as well that at this stage of the game, like I said, it's not completely done yet. There's still a lot of stuff that needs to be worked on. Still a lot of stuff that needs to be added to the game. Okay, this wasn't working totally. So we'll move on and just scout again. So over here we've got quite an open view. We do have a couple of stones in here. That is always good. And then here we've got another small inlet. So that will be awesome to fish as well. And what I found actually is that, with courtesy to Catchy, is that there is chip in here that can be quite active. So I'm gonna do a couple of casts here and see if we can entice a chub. It is overcast that is a bit later in the afternoon, getting close to the start of the evening. In general, in broad general, fish tend to be active early mornings and late evenings. And ooh, there we go. We've got some tugging going on. If he takes it quickly, it's a chub. If he starts to romance it, then it's a carp. Or he could romance it a bit and then take it down, then it's a tench. There we go. That is not a carp, that is a common roach. Yes. Roach infestation has begun. So, but to do a quick recap, if you want to learn a new lake, first up, get yourself a map, check out the layout. Second, pay a visit to the leaderboard, see what type of fish has been caught. You can see the weights on it and see what types of baits are used. Click on it, you can see the top 5 of the biggest fish caught on that lake. And it will give you an inkling as to the sizes of the fish, and like I said, what baits it's used, and you can actually also see the dates. If you see the dates and they're right behind each other, that will give you a good indication that that is a good fish to go for in that period. So if you see that on the 19th of July there were 3 out of the 5 biggest fish caught, and you're fishing on the 20th, go and try that type of bait. Use any bit of real life info that you can get to play it with this game. That is extremely handy to do, and this is a path I actually hadn't found yet. Do your walkarounds, see where you can find bodies of water and places that give both structure, that give a coverage for common fish, and look for specifics. Currently we do not have any water clues, but once those are added, they are going to add those in game. Look for that as well. Water clues like a mud cloud in the water. Now this is currently the reflection of the clouds above us, but if you would see this in the water and it's a mud cloud, that is actually a carp that is doing its thing over there on the bottom. Could be a bream as well. They like to suck up and filter out the stuff that's on the bottom to feed themselves on, so that will be a good indication. It could also be fish that are mating. But then you also see a whole lot of movement in the water, especially in the shallower areas. So things like that. So yeah, and those are simply a bit the basics on how to learn. Now, obviously, there's one more thing that I've got, and that is have a look in the chat and ask folks in the chat. Currently, most of the folks speaking in chat are Russians. But at any time you can just put a message in English, and I found that actually 8 times out of 10 you will get a response back, and they will give you some clues, for instance, as to where they are fishing or what type of fish they are targeting and what they're using to target that type of fish, and that can help you out as well. It has helped me out a lot, because even though I like to think I know a lot, I don't. I'm still learning. So that, guys, is basically how you address this issue. So rather, instead of just copying and like monkey see, monkey do, try it out yourself. Try and see what works and what doesn't work for you. That is a much better way to learn a thing and to master it than just sit back and do what everybody else does. Don't. My sincerest advice is don't be that type of guy. Don't be that type of gal. Learn it on your own. You know. Nothing wrong with asking advice. Nothing wrong with watching tutorials and stuff like that. But in the end, try to make the game fun for you, not what makes it fun for somebody else. Alright guys, thank you all so much for watching this video. I know it's quite long, 30 minutes I see, so really need to wrap it up. But I hope that you took the pointers from it and that you'll start learning the licks by yourself. And before I forget, I would like to do a shout out to two buddies of mine that are great. They do Russian Fishing 4 videos as well. The first one is Squatchcraft or Catchy. He's a dear friend of mine and he makes awesome videos. Make sure to watch him. He's been my mentor when I was during Fishing Planet, and our roles are a bit reversed. Currently I'm sort of a mentor, but still I'm learning heaps from that guy, and the knowledge that he's forgotten, I could only wish I could learn that. When it comes to fishing, he's a very skilled and knowledgeable guy, so give him a watch. I'll post a link to his YouTube below here as well, and his streams as well. You guys can find him on twitch.tv/Squatchcraft. And then the second guy I'd like to mention is Hawkeye. Hawkeye, he is one of the most helpful people out there that I've met. He's got a great heart, and Hawkeye, you're making awesome vids. Hawkeye is more like let's play videos. He's not all into tutorials. It doesn't matter. He is. It's awesome to watch his videos. So go give him a watch as well, guys, and do not forget to like and subscribe to their channels as well as you do with mine. Alright, so thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you want to see me live, I stream the game like 3 to 4 evenings in the week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. Come pay me a visit at twitch.tv/ladyofgames. The O is a 0. And feel free to banter away in chat or to ask away if you got any questions. Also, every other week I'm doing a live Q&A with one of the developers from Russian Fishing 4. I'll put notifications on my Twitter account, so by all means pay that a visit, and if you follow me you'll get a notification the moment that we are going live with the Q&A. So don't forget to hop in and ask away your questions there. You get the answer straight from the developers. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in another video of Russian Fishing 4. Bye bye!